What's going on, guys? Proto-moto here, and welcome back to another box opening. Today we have Structure Deck 15. This is the starter deck, Dragon of Courage, which has the War Greymon Ace as the main chase card, I would say. Or this is the main reason why you're buying it, to get ahead of the next pre-release, which I think is in November. But double check with your locals. So this is the first of the two boxes that I plan on opening for the deck, because I was building War Greymon, Black War Greymon Antibody X before, but so I was just kind of like, yeah, you get Black Agumons in here, so you might as well pick this up if you're planning to build that deck. But like I said before, let's just get right into it. So we have our deck over here, slide that out, and then we also got a playmat. This is a double-sided playmat, I believe, if I could open it. Yeah, so I think you have the card art for the War Greymon on this side, and then you have the other side of the Agumon line. I think I'm just gonna put this over here, and then we'll roll off this. I think that looks pretty cool. All right. So starting off, we have 4 copies of the Koromon. So in the inherited effect is all turns once per turn. When an attack target is switched, this Digimon gets 1000 DP until the end of the turn. So a lot of times you'll be switching from your security to your War Greymon, so you'd be able to get plus 1000 when you block. And then I believe you only get 2 copies of this Agumon over here. So this is a black level 3, but you could Digivolve from Koromon, cost 0. Starting your main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, gain 1 memory. So it's similar to the Gabumon. Next up, we have 4 copies of Clear Agumon. This one just has the reboot inherent effect, so that's pretty much, you'll have to slide underneath to either do your own Agumon, and then go into Clear or your Clear Agumon as your starters. Next up, we have Solarmon. So reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a black card, add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So basically what happens, right, is that you'll reveal a black card, which it is all black technically, so you're not going to be able to trash much at the end of the day. So you'll be just going, okay, just add whatever top deck. So you would most likely just hard play this for 3, because it's pretty low cost and pretty effective to just gain +1. And then we have copies of Toy Agumon. This one is the blocker. You're able to just use this as a blocker, which play cost of 4. That's interesting. That's a bit of a high cost for a blocker, I believe. And then during your turn, when this Digimon attacks a player, lose 2 memory, similar to the other cards inside the other structure deck. Then we have 4 copies of Mechanorimon. This one just gives your stack reboot, which is pretty good. It's a 5000 DP. I don't know if it really... I think you probably side this out with something else if you do plan on building this deck. I'd more streamline this towards like Greymon and War Greymon. And then next up we have 4 copies of the Tankmon, and this one has jamming. It's interesting to see that black has jamming now, because they were usually more of kind of dump resources and like trash effects, but it's just good to have when you swing, and then you're able to just kind of reset itself at the end if you have one of the Agumons underneath it, or yeah, the Toy Agumons. And then you have 2 copies of the Greymon, so you could Digivolve from level 3 from Agumon. It's cost for 2, and then you may play 1 Agumon or 1 Tamer with Taikumi and its name from your hand, or trash without playing the cost as a security effect. And this one is a blocker, so it's a pretty beefy blocker, I guess. So you're able to redirect, gain 1000 from your Koromon, hopefully, and then block for 6k. And then all turns once per turn, when attack target switch, gain 1 memory for its inherited. We have 4 copies of Nightmon. So Nightmon, on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. So just instant removal for a hard 6 play, which is not too bad. If you're going against like other things, like I believe the Lithmon Mill, like you're able just to pop that Guilmon, because I think that's a 3 cost. Next up, we have 4 copies of Andromon. So when Digivolving, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then trash the top card. You can trash past level 3, so yeah. So that's interesting. It's also when Digivolving, so you're probably going to be going into this more likely than your other cards before your 6. The Digivolve 1. Most likely it's probably your opponent's blocker, and then you just kind of be able to swing, which is pretty neat. Next up, we have 2 copies of... Yeah, we have 2 copies of Metal Greymon. So you could Digivolve from level 4 with Greymon in its name for a 3 cost, and then this one also has blocker, and then this gets a security attack +1. It's interesting they changed the way security attack is, so it's security A +1 instead of security +1 now. So I guess they're very specific in terms of like what they might be doing later on. But next up we have our copy of War Greymon Ace. And then you can Digivolve from Greymon and same for a 3 cost. Hand, counter, blast Digivolve. You could... One of your Digimon may Digivolve into this card without paying the cost. And then blocker at a... And then you could just suspend this to block. And then all turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from security stack, you may suspend the Digimon. So it kind of resets itself even if your opponent... So your opponent swings in once, you block once, like this. Your opponent swings security again, you can unsuspend and then block again, which is pretty interesting. It really is. If you get this on board, you probably are going to win just a long game, too. Next up, we have 4 copies of High Angemon. So this also is a blocker, which is pretty interesting. Like, this deck is just comprised of just block, block, block. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 8 or less. So if you're able to go from your 5 into your 6, that's just another option for that. And then moving on to our tamers, we have 4 copies of Tai Kamiya. So this is our memory tamer. If you have 2 or less fewer memory, set it at 3. And then all turns, when an attack target is switched, by suspending this tamer, draw 1, and one of your Digimon gets 2000 DP for the end of the turn. And then we have Breakthrough of Courage as an option card. While you have a tamer with Tai Kamiya in its name, you may use this card without meeting your color requirements. So you can also use this in a red deck if you want. Unsuspend one of your Digimon, then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name is not affected by Digimon, or affects your opponent's Digimon until the end of your opponent's turn, which is interesting. Kind of gives your Digimon immunity for it. And then we have, I believe this is a new card. This is Trident Arm. So main, you could Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, then until the end of the opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gains start of your main phase, Digimon attacks. So you're able to just force it to attack and then either crash into one of your blockers, and then that's actually a pretty good effect. And then for the security, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, and then trash up to 3 cards from the top. And you can't trash past level 3. Yeah, so you're able to just Digivolve 3 for one of your opponent's cards. So if you're able to reduce like the power they have, which is pretty good. And then you also have the Agumon little thing back there, which is... I always appreciate when they give you this because a lot of mats don't. And then if you play with your own mat, you just bring this out, you're fine. But yeah, I think overall, War Greymon is probably the one I would go with to play in terms of competitively, because I haven't tried the purple line Gabumon yet, so we'll see. But like I said before, I was building X Antibody for Black War Greymon, so that kind of sealed my wallet right there, where it's like, yeah, I'm already going to be building this, so might as well, all right? So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time, all right? So sayonara.